And in the Dominican Republic, various activities are being carried out throughout the week to commemorate the Revolution of April 1965. What it's all about? Our correspondent, our colleague Daisy Toussaint, tells us the details.
60 years after the April Revolution, the Dominican people remember one of the most transcendent chapters of its 20th century history, the civil-military struggle that sought to re-establish the legitimate government of Juan Bosch.
It
was an event of extraordinary gravity, because now it seems to be a historical fact. It happened a long time ago, but because of our age we had a certain informative curiosity of that moment.
In
the year 65, it can be said that what was happening here in Santo Domingo was known in all of Latin America, even the conservative press.
I
am talking about my country, Argentina, did not stop reporting every day the development of that event, which was very strange because it was a kind of unification of the contested social forces of the great popular depth together with all kinds of military.
On April 24, 1965, thousands of Dominicans took to the streets to demand a return to constitutionality after the coup d'etat that overthrew Juan Bosch in 1963, following his proposals for social reforms that made conservative sectors uncomfortable. The Dominican Revolution surprised the continent in an era marked by military coups. The particularity was the union of civilians and the military in defense of democracy.
On
April 24, 1965, the Dominican people took to the streets to reestablish the legal and legitimate government that had been overthrown 2 years earlier.
Today, various activities recall that heroic deed. From photographic exhibitions in Independence Park to lectures such as the one given by Argentine political scientist Atilio Boron, who also draws some parallels with the U.S. invasions of that time and today's interference.
Look, what is happening today is that U.S. interference is much more widespread and diversified than before. Before it was an interference that I would dare to say was fundamentally military, political, diplomatic. But today the interference that they have managed to have, for example, through the control of the media system that practically when you look at it, especially the press and television, is in the hands of the United States through front men, through allies, through people who sell out, who change their minds. But then today it is much more dangerous. Besides, today there is an empire that is in a phase of decline and therefore it is much more virulent, much more aggressive.
6 decades later, the ideals of that April continue to resonate as a call for the defense of democracy and fundamental rights.
On the 60th anniversary of the April Revolution, the transcendence is that it is an occasion to reflect on what democracy means and what the struggle of the Dominican people to restore the overthrown government of Juan Bosch in 1963 meant, and also to retake the constitution of that year.
The April Revolution is not only history, it is the present and the commitment of a people that continues to fight for its dignity.
Para teleSUR, Daisy Toussaint, República Dominicana.